It's my biggest mail haul since joining BookTube. Aloha BookTube, it's Marilyn, Maya, also known as the Baby Boomer Booktuber, and I'm here with a humongous mail haul that I've been saving up like most of last year. Before I start, I want to thank everyone who commented on my passport fiasco video last time. I have a funny addendum to the whole story. What happened was when I finally went with my new passport to the acceptance center, the lady who, she's a research librarian, she looked at my new photo and she says, "Boy, you really know how to put on makeup." That's the best passport photo I've seen in months. And I wanted to tell her, yeah, after watching 50 makeup YouTube videos. Anyway, I'm in a much better place in my life and I'm looking forward to my trip. And I'll tell you more about that in another video, but let's get on to the haul. Okay, so the last shall come first, and it's from Blackwell's. And I've been really having good luck with Blackwell's. They don't take too long, and their prices are really reasonable. I had my partner open up all of these books so you don't have to be around for the cutting. Some of the places that I buy books from, like Better Worlds, they really do an amazing job of tying up the books. Okay, so I haven't seen these, I haven't peeked, so if you hear me squealing, that's the reason. Okay, Blackwell's. Oh, there's 2 books. Whoa, all right. It's by Sylvia Townsend Warner, and the first one is Lolly Willowes. The other cover is even greater, even more expressive, and for some reason I hid it from myself before I showed it to you. Okay, so Lolly Williams, so gentle and accommodating, has depths no one suspects. When she suddenly announces that she is leaving London and moving alone to the depths of the countryside, her overbearing relatives are horrified. But Lolly has a greater for darker coiling than family witchcraft. Oh, a far calling. Okay, I don't know if this is up my alley, but I love the cover. I mean, and if you want to see another one by her, now this one, Summer Will Show, a novel of love, war, and death, brilliantly entertaining and far ahead of its time. Sophia Willoughby, or Blandemere House, upstanding Victorian matriarch, has packed her errant husband off to Paris with his mistress Mina. But when tragedy throws her life off balance, Sophia goes to seek him out and instead finds herself immensely attracted to the bohemian Mina, who leads her to a wild, chaotic adventure through a city in the throes of revolution. Wow. Okay, I just want to find out when this was written. So the Penguin Classic is 1926. Wow, this seems way ahead of its time, and I'm sure that the covers are new. And these are Penguin Classics, so I'm looking forward to reading them. I'm not sure who recommended them. It could have been Sean. It could have been Britta Bowler. But anyway, I'm excited. Okay, what's the next? This is from the U.S. Post Office, and it's a big one. Oh, a heavy one. So let's see what this is. Wow, it's another 2 books. Twofer. And this is by Jennifer Louden, and it's Why Bother? So it's a nonfiction, And I love this book. The most important question you'll ever ask yourself. In Why Bother, personal growth expert Jennifer Louden challenges you to open your mind, your heart, and your life by following where the question leads. Now, I read the Woman's Comfort book in the 80s, and it was wonderful, but I read some of her other books that I wasn't that mad about. So I heard good things about this, and I know she has a website, and so I thought I would buy Why Bother. So I'll let you know. Nonfiction November? No, I can't wait until then. And another book by her is The Comfort Queen's Guide to Life. Create all that you need with just what you've got. So these comfort books meant a lot to me in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. So I want to see what it can do for me now. So that's Jennifer Louden. And it comes with a meal kit that I'm not going to use. And then I have a lot of thrift books. I do tend to buy from thrift books a lot. And this one is Winter Frost by R.D. Wingfield. So this looks like a mystery. And it says, Denton is having more than its fare of crime. A serial killer is murdering local prostitutes. A man demolishing his garden shed uncovers a long buried skeleton. An armed robbery at a local mini-mart, a ram raid of a jeweler, and a series of burglaries. But Detective Inspector Jack Frost main concern is for the safety of a missing schoolgirl. 9 weeks ago, Vicky Stewart, 8 years old, didn't return home from school, and in spite of exhaustive inquiries and extensive searches, has never been seen since. So I've never read the new D.I. Jack Frost novels. I don't know if Janelle from Too Fond of Books recommended this book, or another booktuber who likes mysteries, but whoever it was, it made me want to buy the book. So that's Winter Frost. All right, so the next book, oh well, is Night Frost by R.D. Wingfield. So I must have been really interested in reading these Detective Inspector Jack Frost books. And like I said, I'm not sure who recommended them. There's quite a few booktubers who love mysteries on booktube, and I'm always following them. Jack Frost, Denton Division, is not beloved by his superiors. In fact, he's something of a pain in the brass, unkept and unruly, with a taste of crude humor and a tendency to cut corners. So these seem to be a little bit dated. 1992. Well, that's not so dated. Okay, so that's the Jack Frost. So I'm looking forward to that. Another thrift books is, yay, Agatha Christie, Dumb Witness, and it's about a dog. So I wanted to buy this right away. I read a lot of Agatha Christie, but I don't remember reading Dumb Witness. It's Hercule Poirot mystery. It's a little bit worn, so I must have got it for cheap. So it says everyone blames Emily Arundel, and somehow Arundel brings back, you know, Agatha Christie had these weird names for people. I don't know where she came up with them, but so Emily Arundel's accident on a rubber ball left on the stairs by her frisky terrier. But the more she thought about her fall, the more convinced she became that one of her relatives was trying to kill her. So now I'm thinking that it sounds familiar, but I want to read it anyway. So here's Agatha Christie's Dumb Witness. Now we're getting to, I'm not sure who, Second Sale. I've been really enjoying Second Sale, getting some good things from them. So, wow, this is Man's Search for Meaning, an Introduction to Logotherapy by Viktor Frankl. This is a book that I've read before. It's a book about, it's a memoir in a way about Viktor Frankl, who survived a concentration camp. And he devised a way called logotherapy, which is a psychological way of dealing with his experience in the concentration camp, probably Auschwitz. And half of this is about his experience in Auschwitz, and the other part is to help other people who suffer from a lot of different, psychological problems or trauma. And I remember it's a wonderful book. It should be on everyone's bookshelf. So I'm very happy to have my own new copy. It looks like a new copy too. So it says, one of the most outstanding contributions to psychological thought in the last 50 years. If you read but one book this year, Dr. Frankl's book should be this one. Okay. Are we getting down to the end? Oh yeah! I'm excited because I pre-ordered this book. This is a new book. And it's E.H. Young, Miss Mole. And I'm almost positive that Lil from Lil's Vintage World suggested this book. And what it says is, who would suspect her of a sense of fun and irony, of a passionate love for beauty and the power to drag it from its hidden places? Who would imagine that Miss Mole had pictured herself at different times as an explorer in strange lands, as a lady wrapped in luxury and delicate garments? So it says, to all appearances, Hannah Mole is the perfect servant, plain, quiet, and efficient. For 20 years, she has earned her living as a companion to a succession of dominating elderly women. She knows her place, but with wry humor and a lively imagination, keeps reality at bay. I can really relate to that. I had a domineering mother, but I was always in a fantasy world. Maybe I still am. So I really wanted to read this book, and it's really has a lot of excitement in it for me. Well, we're more than halfway done. Let's get at it. Okay. The next book is, Mary Roberts Rinehart, The Wall. I was introduced to Mary Roberts Reinhardt by Cathy, say Cathy, and say as in French, say Cathy, and I love her. And I love the first book I read, The Circular Staircase, I think it was, and I think I read another one that I can't remember the name of. So The Wall is, it's a woman laying, and it looks like a trellis of some kind, or a garden. Dazzling, devious, and man-hungry Juliet was anything but popular with the upper-class set she'd married into. So harried husband Arthur brought her off with a ruinously expensive divorce. But a few years later, like a destructive tornado, she turned up out of the blue and began causing trouble. Only this time the trouble was for herself. Now, I just wanted to mention that Mary Roberts Reinhardt is like Golden Age mysteries, but with in an American setting, which was really very interesting. So instead of like an Agatha Christie, which has an English manor house vibe to it, this is more American, about the same time. So I'm looking forward to reading. I have so many mystery books. Okay, the next one is from Better World Books, and they really know how to tie up their books. So let's see. I'm excited. It's another Agatha Christie. Peril at End House. And I'm not sure if I'm reading this with someone. I'm buddy reading this with someone. But I know I bought it, and I know I read it before. And it's one of Agatha Christie's favorite or most popular or most well-received books. And it's, is it a Hercule Poirot? I think it is, yeah. It's a murder mystery. And it's in blue. So please forgive me, my eyes aren't too well. I'm gonna get new glasses before my trip. So my eyes are failing me a little bit. The incomparable Poirot faces a most unusual challenge, preventing murder. That's all I'm going to say about it. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. I know I read it already, but, you know, how many times can you reread an Agatha Christie? As many times as you can or want to. All right, now this is just media mail, so it must be from somebody that I bought it from. Oh, I am so excited about this book. I am so excited. It's a Barbara Pym. And if you watched my last video, Jane and Prudence was my favorite book of last month. And this book is some Tame Gazelle. And I heard that it's I think it's her first, at least popular book. And it has a lot of laughs in it, I heard. So, and look at this cover. I mean, it's beautiful. It's just wonderful. So what is it about? I have no idea, and I don't care because I love Barbara Pym that much. Some Tame Gazelle is my personal favorite. Well, this is I'm not going to read that because it's a blurb from somebody named Mavis Cheek. Okay, so what is it about? Together yet alone, the Mrs. Bede, so it must be either mother or daughter or two sisters, occupy the central crossroads of parish life. Now, what I said last time was that Barbara Pym always talks about the high church, the low church, and parish life, and vicars, and things that I never knew anything about until I joined BookTube. Harriet, plump, elegant, and jolly, likes nothing better than to make a fuss over new curates. I'm hoping I'm saying curates right. And I know that from reading Barbara Pym that these are like new, you know, new, not vicars, but they're training, vicars in training. And she likes to make fun of them a lot. So, secure in the knowledge that Count Riccardo Bianco will propose to her yet again this year, Belinda, however, meanwhile, has harbored sober feelings of devotion toward, and I can't pronounce this name, Archdeacon, yes I can, Hotchley for 30 years, that into their quiet, comfortable life comes a famous librarian, Nathaniel Mould, and a bishop from Africa, Theodore Grote, who each takes to calling on the sisters for rather more unsettling reasons. Sounds wonderful, and it might be the next book I read. We're getting to the end, people. Now I remember this. This is Barbara Sher's idea book. And Barbara Sher passed away a few years ago. And one of her most famous books is Wishcraft. And it helped me through so much turmoil in my life and gave me so many ideas on how to deal with getting what you want with very little money and a lot of responsibility. So here's her idea book. And I never heard of it before until I joined BookTube. And I'm just curious to see when it was, 2004. So it's a little bit old, but hopefully I get some ideas. We're getting down to the end. The next book is Deborah Levy, Things I Don't Want to Know. Daniel at Guilty Feet had turned me on to Deborah Levy, and I had bought 3 of her books already. So I think this is her memoir. Things I Don't Want to Know is the first in her essential 3-part living autobiography on writing and womanhood. And I write memoirs. I'm in the process of writing my second memoir. And I'm interested to know how a living autobiography, which I'm doing myself, is done in a way that's popular, let's say, that people want to read. I think I already know how to do that. I'm hoping I know how to do that. But let's see how Deborah Levy does that. All right, and is this last but not least? I think it is. Oh my goodness. Dear Reader. And this is a new book. It just came out. It's by Cathy Rentzenbrink. And it's a book about books. I know that. I know that Alice from Alice's Giant Bookshelf read it. I know many, many booktubers have read it. And it's a companion for readers everywhere. It's also a beautiful cover with a lot of gold in it. I'm partial to gold. So intimate, kind, and self-effacing. It feels like someone is sitting right next to you, holding your hand and sharing their secrets. I loved it. And what I think it is a memoir, but it's about their reading life. And what can be better than that? The last book is Endless Night by Agatha Christie. I read this, but I wanted it in my collection. I have a small collection, but I want to collect Agatha Christie's. So Endless Night I remember as one of my favorites also. And Michael Rogers dreamed of a perfectly designed house and a rich, beautiful wife. He found the girl and he built the house, a place with a curse on it, where sudden death had already struck more than once. The crashing, horrific surprise is perhaps the most devastating that Agatha Christie has ever brought off. And I might be reading this with a buddy read, but I have a few buddy reads that are coming up. So I'm going to have to check on what book is with what person, because this was all new to me. I didn't peek or look at any of these books. I hope you enjoyed this this book mail haul as much as I enjoyed finding out what I'm going to be reading. It seems to me that all these books are books that are going to make me feel good. They're feel-good books. That's what I think of. There's a lot of mysteries in here. There's some Barbara Pym, at least one, and there's also some memoir. So please subscribe if you haven't already, and thank you so much for my subscribers. I really appreciate every one of you and all my friends on BookTube. So everyone, until we meet again, aloha.